Hey guys, this is Team Vox, and today we're here with Laura Bailey and Travis Willingham. Say hi, guys.
Yo,
hey guys.
what's up?
Alright, so this is going to be a very small interview, but it's going to be jam-packed with fun.
It's gonna be the awesomest interview ever.
Gonna be action-packed.
Totally.
Thrills beyond belief.
Nice. Anyways,
Goof it up.
so how'd you two get started in voiceover, Laura?
Laura
Okay.
Bailey.
Well, for me, we're squishing chairs here. I was studying theater in college, and my director of my theater program asked if I wanted to do a little more regional theater, so I branched out and was doing a play in Dallas. And one of the guys that was in the show with me, his name was Kent Williams, and this was back when Funimation was doing Dragon Ball Z, and he liked my performance and asked if I would come in and audition for Dragon Ball Z, and I did. And when I first auditioned, I actually auditioned for the role of Goten and Kid Trunks and Videl and Erasa. And the first time I auditioned for Android 18.
Right.
And I did not get it, but I sounded like Dende, the woman who played Dende. So they asked if I would come in and do a voice match for her because she was out of town and they couldn't get a hold of her and they needed to record Dende. So I went and recorded, and then I didn't hear from them for like months. And finally, Chris Sabat called me and went, "Oh, by the way, she came back in town, so she re-recorded all your stuff that you recorded. So sorry you're not on the show, but we really like you. Will you come and audition again?" And that's when I auditioned for Trunks, and I got that part, and it just kept going from there.
Lovely.
Yes, it was a beautiful story.
Mine wasn't nearly that cool. I was a fan of Dragon Ball Z myself in college, a few years I guess after you had started recording, and we were watching it one day, a couple college buddies of mine, and we happened to. I know your BO
I
smells
smell so bad
Laura
right
Bailey. You're. I digress from your BO.
It's okay, we'll edit that one out.
Leave it in.
Leave it. They need to know.
That's what we're good for. Yeah, we were watching Dragon Ball Z and the credits rolled, and I saw Laura's name in the credits, and we had the same theatrical agent in Dallas at the time, and we had an agent that submitted us on commercials and TV and film if there was any in the area or anything like that. And we had the same agent, so I called her and asked for Laura's number and pretty much begged Laura to get me an audition at Funimation.
For
And
about 2 years there.
About 2.5
begged
years.
me
3
to do an
years.
audition.
Like 900 years. And we actually knew each other. We had worked on a couple things together, but she never really walked me in the door. I think
Didn't cross that line.
Well, haven't you
Travis.
walked in? You've walked in people before, and they haven't exactly been great.
Well, I had walked in a couple people, yeah, and I thought that they were, because just because you're great, a good actor on camera doesn't mean that you're going to be a good voice actor.
Right.
And that's something I learned from bringing a couple people in, and they really didn't understand the dynamics of dubbing. And
It's a whole different skill set.
It's a completely different process.
Yeah.
And so I was wary of bringing other people in. So no, I didn't bring you in, Travis.
Right. Well, thank God for Mike McFarlane, you
Yeah.
horrible wench. Because he brought me in after working on a love you after working on an independent film, and brought me into work for an episode of Yu Yu Hakusho, and I was so bad at it right off the bat, and it literally took me a year of kind of stumbling through it to get that.
See, if I had brought you in, it wouldn't have reflected well on
you
me.
don't know
because you
that
would've sucked.
I might have been a rock star, yo.
So there's that story.
Okay. Okay, so what people are curious about is when they get started training, what kind of training would you guys recommend for voiceover?
Study
and
acting.
all.
Yeah, study acting. That's always important. Just because you can do a bunch of crazy voices doesn't mean that people are going to want to hire you. You have to be able to act, say the lines convincingly. I took voice lessons as far as singing, because it really helps to learn breath control, especially in dubbing, because there are so many instances where. Do I smell bad?
No.
Okay. There are so many instances.
You don't.
Okay. There are so many instances where you don't have the ability to pause and for breath, and so you have to be able to take in a huge amount of air and just keep talking and talking.
So I'm assuming that took in a big role for Kid Trunks.
Kid Trunks, Sana, and Kodacha. Oh my gosh, the amount of breath support I had to have in that show was insane.
My breath support show was Mushishi, because everything he said was in a whisper. So
and
it's like
that makes you use up breath more and more when you're talking in a softer voice that's breathier. More breath is coming out, and so you need more time to take in breath. Yeah, it gets difficult.
Yeah, a lot of people come up to us at conventions and they're like, "Hey, listen, I do a great Goku impression,
Right.
or I do a
I
great...
can sound just like you in Fruits Basket.
Listen to this line that I can do," and that's awesome. I actually encourage people that don't have a means of, either they're not in theater classes or they're not, doing community theater or studying. A real rough way to do it is to just, find some of your favorite characters and see what your voice can do. It doesn't matter if you can do that voice, because if you go in and you go, "Hey, I do a great Goku voice," guess what? They have Goku.
Sean Shimmer already does that. So, yeah, you got to just have confidence in your own abilities and come up with something new.
It's good to know what you can do, what your voice can sound like, but you have to know what you're able to come up with.
You can go, "I have a Goku type of voice."
Yeah.
That's good. But what about... Okay, so one key element that a lot of people or a lot of actors have been telling me is social networking, especially in this business. It's a people business. What do you guys have to say about that?
Well, I mean, from my story, that's how I got into voice acting. Is I was doing a play, and so many people get started in theater. I was doing a play, and I got introduced that way. And really, I mean, it's all about who you know.
Same for me. I mean, Laura screwed me for 2 years. Didn't let me in. Mike McFarlane did, and I didn't entirely.
But
screw
then
up the audition.
you said you didn't think you did too hot in Yu Yu Hakusho, but then he did a play with. Yeah, we can keep going. You did a play with Colleen Klinkenbeer,
right,
who was my roommate at the time, and
Justin Cook came and saw
Justin Cook, who runs the the production department at Funimation, saw it and really liked Travis's performance, and so he wanted to bring him back in, and that's when you auditioned for Full Metal.
That's right.
All right. So people are also curious about the experience in the booth. Like, how is it like for you guys in that padded
cell?
Yes.
An insane asylum.
It depends on the studio, like sometimes, when we started at Funimation, the way those ones were set up back in the day is we had whisper rooms, which was like, basically it was a little box that they put into an office or another room, and you would go in that little tiny booth and record for hours on end. And then you go to other places and it's an actual room the size of a closet, or the size of a bedroom, and then other places it's a room that's the size of somebody's living room, and they just have it all set up and they record bands there as well as stuff. So it totally depends on.
It depends on the studio. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes you have a mic stand with a paper script in front of you, and other times you'll have a computer monitor that scrolls for you, so there's no flipping of the pages that you have to deal with. It's all lit very well,
which can be harder sometimes because then you can't make notes on your script. Or doodle.
Screen.
I know, I doodle
really
like
pissed.
whoa when I'm recording. And depending on the studio, when we're out in California, most of the sessions don't go longer than 4 hours. They kind of cap it at 4, because after 4 hours you can really tell in somebody's voice that it's showing the wear of talking for 4 hours straight.
I can keep going.
But at Funimation, they'll go 8-hour sessions. If you have a lot of recording, they get you in. And especially, when me and Travis travel now, we have to fly in to go to Texas. So we kind of jam pack all the recording into a few days. And so you record for maybe 12 hours straight.
A couple days in a row.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people are thinking about agents, and they're very curious about that, and they don't know how that works. Let's start off with the demo. How does the demo work, and do you guys have one? And
Absolutely.
Yeah, we both have demos. But I didn't when I first started.
Right.
The thing is, we started in Texas, and that industry there is completely different than it is here in California. Even in Texas, I got my agent, and then I started doing voiceover, and so I kind of got a demo going for her just so she could send something out for me. But I already had representation, And coming out here to California, even though I was already established, I'd been voice acting for 9-10 years at that point. I came out here, and it still took me, for almost a year to get an agent out here, because, it's just having to get, it's not necessarily sending in your demo, because really, it's so hard to get in the door just by sending your demo out. I mean, it's next to impossible just to get somebody to put it in their computer and listen to it. So you really have to have somebody walking you in the door and going, this person can do what we say they can do, and they're going to get you work,
Yeah, it's actually entirely accurate. I have nothing to add.
all right, so people are curious about getting an actual agent.
Yeah.
Where did you guys find representation?
Well, it depends on the city, you know.
Yeah.
LA is going to be the best of the best. So if you're in LA, you really need to have some previous experience. People that are just going to, just try and start from scratch.
LA isn't the place to
not
do
the
that.
place to do it. You're going to waste your time and your money. If you want to start up from nothing, if you want to start in a area like Texas, or if you want to be in
North Carolina
or Canada, or New York or somewhere like that. Even those places, they need to know that you're a good actor first and foremost, that you're confident in the booth, and that you've got previous experience to back up that confidence. So you're going to have a resume, and that resume needs to include theater credits or some kind of
training, saying what kind of training you've done. We're running out of time. Oh my gosh. When in Texas, it's easier to get in the door. Maybe agents will go out and see plays, and they'll see somebody that they like, and they'll bring you in for an interview, and a lot of agencies there will have a couple agents that run all of the departments. So it's easier to get in the door because it's a much smaller pool. So it's easier to start if you're not here.
Yeah, it's good just to prepare yourself to try and be marketable in all aspects if you're looking for an agent, because that way they're not just...
But there are plenty of people... That's hard, because for us, we do all of across the board,
It's a tricky
But
thing.
there are plenty of people that do just voice acting.
There's
I don't
no
know,
real,
it's hard.
real
It's hard
good
for us
answer.
to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get one last thing in, and that's going to be, if you were to tell the amateur world out there, what would it be? Like, what would you tell
them anything?
Yeah.
Don't give up just because you've been rejected a couple times. Because, even now, having done it for
a decade.
Yeah, we still get rejected. We do
Every day.
To 5 auditions a day on different shows, and maybe we'll get a call back on one of those. Maybe. You just have to keep working, and eventually, it'll pay off.
Yeah, I mean, another thing I would say is if you're just trying to start up, always be self-evaluating. Put yourself in classes, put yourself in shows, take on any form of acting that you can, because experience is exactly what they're looking for. If it's not your thing, find out what is, play to your strengths. And again, don't be scared of rejection. That's the biggest thing, because it happens every single day. And there are great stories from people who try and it doesn't happen for them for years, and we're talking
finally
years.
Something takes off.
Yeah, don't give yourself any timeline. 6 months, a year, 2 years. Don't set yourself a time limit.
And another thing is you really have to treat it like a career. If you decided one day you wanted to be a doctor, you wouldn't just go, I'm going to be a doctor, and show up at the hospital and be like, hey, guys, don't you want to hire me? Because I want to be a doctor. So, as a voice actor, you have to go, I have to train. I have to go to class for this. I have to go to school for this. I have to, commit years of training to it. You can't just show up at a studio and say, hey, guess what? I'm a voice actor now, and you guys should hire me. Or send an email to the producers, or send an email to another voice actor. Like, I get emails all the time from fans going, hey, I just decided I'm going to be a voice actor. Can you get me an audition at Funimation? And I am offended by it. Honestly, it is offensive to me that you think that you don't have to put the time and effort into pursuing it for real.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There's
competition.
no easy way.
Yeah. It comes with a lot of work, and like we said, that's why the resume is so important, because you've got to show that you're willing to put the work in other places instead of just, anime voiceover in particular. So, as long as you're willing to put in the work and put in the time, maybe it'll pay off, maybe it won't, but you got to consider it a career, and you got to consider it a lifestyle.
Yeah. Bam.
Well, wisdom imparted.
Yay! All right. Well,
we're so uplifting.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today. This is Alan. This is Laura and Travis.
Thanks for listening, you guys.
This is Alan's Cold Hard Facts.
That's right.
Presented by the LB and the T-Dub.
That means the pound.
All right. Well, if you guys want to actually contact Laura or Travis,
you can go to my website at lizardbee.com, or you can find me on MySpace.
Yeah, you can find me on MySpace, because I don't have a website yet, because I'm boring.
Yeah.
I guess a Facebook.
We have Facebook, but we only use Facebook for personal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, close
But
friends and
MySpace,
family.
I welcome all fans.
Yeah, bring it on.
Catch you guys later.